It's pretty dark where I am right now. It seems like everything is a dark figure. Anyways, grab a blanket, turn off your lights. Followed by a dark figure. There's a fair amount of psychic ability that seems to run through the women of my family. Ever since I was a little child, I would have small bursts of psychic experiences like deja vu, dreams that would eventually come true, and just generally knowing things before they happened. However, when I hit puberty, this all changed. I started to feel as though I was being watched. It was a thick, panicking feeling that I would be overwhelmed with suddenly. I mentioned my experiences and feelings to my mother, and she would always tell me to pray it away. My mother has many experiences of her own, but does not see her ability as a gift and prays to God to just take it away. I've tried this in the past, and it seemed to have helped for at least a little while. Then one day, it got much worse. The day it happened, it was in the middle of the afternoon and I was home alone. I walked into the living room and I stopped in my tracks. The living room itself was empty, but looming in my mind was this tall black figure standing in front of the couch. The only way I can properly explain it would be to say that he was invisible to the naked eye, but I could see him with my mind. Ever since that day, he's always been near. I can see him with my mind if he's in the house, and when he's not, I can tell how far away he is by the thick or heavy feeling that he gives me. The closer he is to me, the thicker or heavier the feeling is, and if he's in the house, I'm able to see him. I've gotten someone used to his shocking appearance, but he frightened me so much at first. He is very tall and sickly thin. He's all black and has very long fingers. They almost look like claws. His arms are long too. Everything about him is just long. Arms, legs, face, fingers, everything. He doesn't have regular feet either. His feet are hooked and he stands on his toes. He looks as though if I were to touch him, he would feel like sand. Very rough. I think what scares me the most about him is that I don't know what he wants. Whenever I see him, he's just standing there. I never actually see him walking or moving, and he never talks. I can't see any facial features either, so I can't even begin to tell what he is feeling. I get the feeling that he wants something from me, though. In times of pain, sickness, or stress, he gets even closer to me. When I'm stronger, I can keep him out of the house, but when I'm sick, hurt, or tired, he's right there in the room with me. I still have other more mild psychic experiences like deja vu, for example. I have that a lot, actually, but I don't understand what this means, I'm afraid. The black dark figure. Even when we started to move in, I kept seeing dark figures, especially in my room at nighttime. If you know why does this happen, please help by writing it in the comments. So, here is the story. Last night, when me and my 11-year-old sister named Kate was watching a movie, I felt thirsty, so I went to get some drinks in the kitchen. Kate was sitting down, watching the movie, but when I entered the kitchen, there is this dark figure on the wall. It looks like it had long hair and was wearing a dress. I didn't know what to do. I just stood there. I was shocked. I was staring at the black figure, then I continued getting some Coke in the fridge. But when I turned to look at it again, It was gone. It was no longer there. I told my sister about the black figure, but of course she didn't believe me. She thought I was tired and seeing things. So we turned off the movie and instead went straight to bed. When we walked in the hallway, there again was the black figure standing next to my parents' bedroom door. When Kate entered her room, the black figure just stood there, looking like it was staring at me. I told the black figure to go away and to leave us alone. I didn't even want to sleep yet. It was only 7 p.m. at night, so I just got a book and read instead. By then, I actually heard a knock on the door, and I thought it was my parents. But when I opened the door, there was no one there. I closed it, confused, scared, even a little agitated, and so I just continued reading my book. 3 hours later that night, I stopped reading because it was 10 p.m., my time for bed. So I just changed into my sleeping clothes and went straight to bed. Also, I turned off my lamp. But then, there was the black figure. It wasn't a woman, it was a man, I'm sure. I felt scared that I broke into a sweat. The man was trying to kill me because I saw a knife in his hand, and when I turned the light on, he was gone, no longer there. So I just sleep with one light on, say a prayer, then I went to bed. But then before I closed my eyes, my sister was going inside. She looked sweaty and scared. She actually told me that someone grabbed her arm and she saw a black figure that looks like a little girl. Not like the one that I saw. And comes the next morning, my mom and dad told me that there was a black figure of a man and a woman. The exact black figure that I saw. The woman was in the kitchen, and the man was inside my room. We will try to find out why there is a shadow around our house. I will post more if I experience other ghostly things. Dark figures at sad location. Ironic coincidence? I've struggled with whether or not I should share this story. The reason being the location, a scene where not so long ago, a number of people lost their lives. Relatives of the deceased are alive and visit this location from time to time. People close to this location may have been members of this website. If one of them saw my story on here, what would they think? The event I saw is close to home in more ways than one. Ultimately, I decided keeping quiet wouldn't change what I saw, nor would it relieve the loss people felt, so I'll tell the story. It happened at the site of the old Gent Little General Store in Gent. In 2007, it was destroyed in a propane blast. Today, a vacant lot with some handmade memorials are all that remains. I sat at the entrance to Flat Top Lake near Winter Place Ski Resort. I live near there, and a few years ago, I took a job that requires driving by this location quite often. Usually these trips are quite uneventful, really, except for the odd deer jumping out in the road. I mean, that was really no big deal, to be honest. I used to keep an MP3 player hooked up to my car stereo to make these trips better and more easy to get through. This happened in mid-August 2014. I was making a trip out to the Nights Inn Motel on Odd Road. It's a real name. And of course I had my music going on my MP3 player. It was a clear but steamy night. I started up the hill where the GLG lot is, and as I approached, I saw a dark figure standing on the GLG side of the road. It was shaped like a person, but with no characteristics. It was like a shadow. This was at night, but the figure was even darker somehow. It stepped onto the road, so I braked hard, and the figure ran across the road. As I lifted my foot off of the brake to leave, I saw 3 more of these black figures running across. Again, they were human-shaped. I saw that, but had no features whatsoever. All of them ran into the woods on the other side of the road. I left quickly. This scene was made even scarier by the song that was playing on my stereo, which was Anthem by Deep Purple. As I was driving up to the GLG, the lyrics said, "If the day would only come, then you might just appear, even though you'd soon be gone. When I reach out my hand, if I could see you, if only I could see you, to see if you are laughing or crying when the night winds softly blow." I finished my trip shaken, to say the least. I haven't seen anything disturbing at this location before or since what I described.